Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
So in the last episode, we talked about some keystone skills to pick up as a Master Mason that you're going to want to develop for a lifetime. The other things that I want to talk about, some additional skills to add to that mix. The first two being probably the most important, that is the honest self-analysis and emotional intelligence. The others are going to be proximate to that. And so what we're looking for in a second set of skills, and these are going to be lifelong, there's no two ways about it. The first is going to be the acquisition of language. So the way you speak and the way you think is informed by the words you know. Adding vocabulary is probably the single greatest thing you can do to increase the available opportunities to think about things that you maybe never thought of before. It's very similar to naming colors. So if you only have 8 colors to choose from, it's really going to be hard to communicate maybe your vision for what a painting should look like. Whereas if you have a whole rainbow of colors, or you can blend colors together and you have words for those blends, you're going to be able to describe and accurately communicate with other people a whole lot more. And that brings us to the second skill. So the first skill is lexicon. The second skill is interpersonal social skills. Social skills are really tough because you are now not only dealing with your own mind, which in and of itself on a good day is a hard tiger to wrestle, but you are now dealing with the minds of others. And more importantly, you have to have some level of an understanding about their preconceived notions and the interiors that they're wrestling with in order for you to communicate effectively. So what that means is scripting and changing the way you communicate with different people based on what you understand of who they are as a person. This is why communicating to the lowest common denominator in a lot of ways represents perhaps a higher level of understanding and intelligence. At the same time, there may not be, you may have too much work to do to essentially, I don't want to say dumb it down because that's dismissive, but to essentially make sure that everyone could possibly understand it, or whatever it is you're trying to communicate. That process may be prohibitive from a timeline perspective. So when you want to communicate with somebody else and you want to do it in a way that makes sort of the maximum positive outcomes, understanding who they are and where they are in their sort of developmental journey and kind of their background and their history and maybe their idiosyncrasies is going to be a skill that was worth its weight in gold. Let me be clear, we are social creatures. So despite our best effort and intention, you're not going to be able to go off and live on an island by yourself. At some point, you're going to need a skill set you don't have. At some point, you're going to need access to materials that you're unfamiliar with working. And so you're going to need help, even if you are sort of the maximally agent person. If you have the most capacity, if you are an unstoppable MacGyver, somebody still has to make the tools he uses or make the bubble gum he uses to repair stuff. Same thing's true for you. You're probably not growing your own coffee or, making your own sugar cane or growing every single plant you're going to need to make some of the more advanced medicines. So given that you're not going to be able to do it alone, and humans are essentially designed not to do it alone, we're social creatures, the development of that second skill set, the social skill, is going to be absolutely crucial in your journey forward. So between these skills, between these sort of elements of agency, you will have a really solid foundation for moving the conversation forward for yourself and essentially beginning to develop essentially the framework for a life well lived. And so as you pursue these things, we'll get more into it in the podcast here, but as you pursue these things, be sure to check out what we're doing here in Mason's Work, and see if we have some tools that maybe can knock the corners off of some of that for you, shortcut some of that process. There are some things, some best practices, some capabilities out there to essentially make some of these journeys a little bit less onerous. So with that in mind, we'll see you next time.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at masonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.